So today's lesson is about differentiating between what we call an expression and what we call an equation. It's more like, if you wish, it's more like a vocabulary lesson in a way. When I say an expression, what do I mean by that? And when I say an equation, what does that mean? So it's like similar to saying phrase or a sentence in English. Okay? So when I say a sentence, that means it should have a period at the end, right? A sentence is, I went to school today, period, right? Same with math. When I talk about math, when I say an equation, I mean it's a full sentence. There should be an equal sign in that equation, okay? So anytime you see something that looks like this, for example, that's an equation because it has that equal sign in it, okay? On the other hand, an expression will not have that equal sign. So something that is like 3x2, right? It's a phrase. It's not a sentence. You see the difference between the two? So one has an equal sign, the other one does not have an equal sign. When I'm talking about a sentence with an equal sign, an equation with an equal sign, I can solve for that equation, right? So when I say solve, that means I can move things around. So I can bring the 2 over, so that becomes 3x equals to 5 minus 2, right? 3x equals to 3, right? And then I can simplify for x, so I can bring the 3 over, it becomes a division by 3, and that will be 3 over 3, okay? So when I do that, it's called a solution. I am finding an answer that makes that equation true. However, in this case, I can't do that because I don't have an equal sign to be able to move things around to isolate for that x. Do you guys see the difference between the two? We're going to talk more about how to isolate and how to do all of this work in our next unit. Okay? I just want you to see that in this one, I can actually isolate to solve. In this one, I can just simplify. Simplify means collect like terms. We're also going to talk about collecting like terms and what are like terms in our next unit.
That equation you wrote up, did it already have the 5 there for the example? Or
yes. So it's
that?
3x plus 2 equals 5. I just made up this equation.
Okay, so an equation always has like it equals something?
Equals something. So it could be equals 0. So it could be like 3x plus 2 equals 0.
So then what are we trying to break it down more after that, or?
We're trying to isolate for the letter x in this case,
okay.
Right? So I want to leave x by
find
itself.
out what x is?
I want to know what x is, yeah.
Okay, that's
right?
what we're trying to do that.
That's what we're trying to do. So what I did in this case, in the 3x plus 2 equals 5 situation, brought the 2 over, because when you're isolating for a letter, you want it by itself. So you want to move all the numbers away from it. Okay? So what happens when we move, I'm going to explain this tomorrow or next week, but I will explain this right now. So I'm moving the 2 over to the other side, right? So when I move it, when I bridge it, when I move it over that equal sign, I'm going to have to do the opposite operation of it because it's bridging. Okay? So what's the opposite operation of adding 2? Subtracting 2, right? So when I move that plus 2 to the other side, it's like I'm subtracting 2. So it becomes minus 2. You see that?
How come we're moving it again?
Because we want to leave x by itself. Right?
Yeah.
So you want to isolate x. X wants to be by itself, doesn't want anything else with it. So we have to do it step by step. First I'm going to have to move the 2. So I am subtracting by 2. So that gives me 3. Okay? Then after that, there's still a 3 multiplied by the x. Right? I want to get rid of that. Opposite of multiplication is? Division. So when I move that 3 over here, it's going to become divided by 3, so that gives me 1. Okay? We're going to learn this a little bit more, as I said, next, in the next minute.
Why is it 3 times something? I thought it's 3x.
This is 3x. But when I say 3x, that's 3 times x.
Oh, Three times that?
Remember we
So
talked
they're
about this, we
indivisible.
talked about this before. So if I write this, if I write this, if I write this,
Okay.
if I write this, that's a multiplication sign, they mean exactly the same thing. Okay? Are we okay with that?
What is x of times?
Sorry?
X is multiplication.
No, x is 11.
It's like a variable, right?
It's a variable. If you guys are too, if that's making you kind of like
You should use A
confused,
instead.
I can use 3a plus 2 equals 5, 3a equals 5 minus 2, 3a equals 3. Right? But you have to get used to seeing that x, because x is used widely in math.
Does it look different than the times, or is it the same?
No, it doesn't look different as the times. It actually, it does if we use the actual equation.
Yeah.
It does. So if we use the equation editor, the x is gonna look like this,
Okay.
while the multiplication is gonna look like this. Okay? If we're using the equation editing. Yeah. Now, let's look at an example. We're gonna read an English sentence, and then we're gonna translate it to math. So, 10 is 5 less than a number.
Yeah, it's gonna translate. No, we'll do it.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Sorry, miss.
That's okay. Can you guys, so 10 is 5 less than a number. How can you translate that into math?
10 is 5 less than the number.
Yeah.
Plus 1, negative 10, something like that.
So 10 is, how can I write 10? And then what does is translate
10
into?
minus x equals 5.
But 10 is 5 less than a number.
Oh,
5 less than a number. How do you write that?
5 less.
10 minus 5.
Minus 5.
So forget about the 10. How do you write 5 less than a number?
Minus 5.
Minus 5.
X minus 5, right? Or A minus 5. The number is whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Call the number anything, A, right? So that's going to be A minus 5, right? Right? You guys just told me that.
Yeah.
Okay, now 10 is that. So 10 is. What should I put for the is?
Equal.
E. 10 is a number minus 5 or 5 less than a number.
Doesn't matter what the other number is. It's just
No, it doesn't
it's
matter
not
what the
saying
other number is. You
is.
can solve for it.
Oh God.
What is it going to be? It's going to be 15, right? You can solve for it. But the equation is 10 is a number 5 less than a number.
So it's like half an answer almost, or
It's
like
it's
a full
called an
answer.
equation.
Okay.
It is called an equation, right? Because it has that equal sign in it.
How would we solve for this one?
We're going to look at it later on. 5 more than a number is 7.
7a equals plus 5.
Read that again. 5 more than a number is 7.
7 equal a plus 5.
Do we agree with that?
It's 12.
Do we agree with the answer though? Do we agree that 5 more than a number, how do you write that?
Plus positive 5.
I get what you're saying, but I don't know how to write it now. It just clicked.
Okay, remember a number we call it a letter, right? 5 more than that letter, how do you write that? Let's say call it A.
A plus 5.
That's right. What did we say is mean?
Equals 7.
Done. 5 more. You have to be careful that that number, you're gonna give it a letter. Whenever it says something more than a number or something less than a number or something number less than this, a number has to be given a letter. This would be probably one of the hardest lessons that you would ever want to learn. Okay? Because translating English to math or math to English, it's not easy. Okay? So we call these equations, right? We call them equations because they have an equal sign. Are we all good with that?
What would you, what would you
Because you have to understand the difference that an equation is the one with an equal sign and you can solve for it. A sentence or an expression doesn't have an equal sign and you can just simplify and substitute. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay? Let's solve for these. What does solve mean?
Answer it, no?
Answer it. Isolate for the letter, leave it by itself, find the value of that letter. Okay? How can I isolate for the letter A? What do I have to do? So I want to leave A by itself. What do I do?
And maybe
Cross over, move it over.
Bring the negative 5 over and becomes a
Positive.
plus 5. And it's going to be 10 plus 5 equals to
Where's
A.
the negative coming from? The 5?
Yes.
And the
So
positive
that
is
5 has a
10.
negative in front of it, right?
Yeah.
When I move it over, it becomes a positive 5.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to have 10 plus 5 equals to A. So what's 10 plus 5?
15.
So 15 equals to A.
And it becomes a positive because that number is, because the 10's a positive, or?
No, it becomes a positive because you see that in front of that 5, what do we have?
A negative.
A negative. That belongs to the 5.
Yeah.
Anything in front of it belongs to it. So then when I move it over, because that's a negative, the opposite of negative is positive.
So when you're moving it, it has to switch?
Yes. When you move, anytime you move a number, you bridge it over the equal sign. I call it a bridge, right? Anytime it passes that bridge, it's going to switch the operation. How many of you understand that actually? What I just
Yeah.
said?
So if it's multiplication, it's going to be division, and it's always going to switch over?
That's right. If it's addition, it's going to become subtraction. Subtraction is going to become,
That doesn't seem right to me, though,
Addition.
but I'll go with that.
it's you're switching operation.
Seems
Okay,
weird, yeah.
let me try something else with you guys here. What plus 2 gives me 7?
5.
5. We all agree that with that? So the answer for x should be 5 because only 5 plus 2 is going to give me 7, nothing else. We all agree?
Yeah.
Okay. How can I get rid of that plus 2? What do I do to get rid of plus 2? Minus 2. Bring it over, that's one way. But another way, to get rid of plus 2, you subtract 2, right? So, if I want to subtract, this is another method that teachers teach, so you guys can pick whichever method you want. So if I subtract 2 from this side, because I have an equal sign, it's like you have a balance, right? If you remove a little bit from this side, you're going to have to remove the same amount from the other side. Otherwise, your balance is going to go sideways, right? It's not going to be balanced anymore, right? So if I subtract 2 on this side, then I must do the same to the other side, right? We agree with that? So 2 minus 2 gives me
0.
0. So I have x plus 0, which I don't include, equals to, what's 7 minus 2?
5.
5. Is that the answer that we already said earlier? We said that 5 plus 2 is 7. Yep.
The 2, does it always have to be the same number you minus? Like,
Yes.
if it
So
was
let's
a
say
5, you would say 5?
that's right. So if you have, let's say, x plus 5 equals 7, right? You want to subtract 5, so you have to subtract 5. Anything you do to one side, you have to do to the other. You can't change your equality.
Can it be longer than just two numbers? Can it be x equals 1 plus 2 plus 8?
Sure, but then you can make that easier because
Break it down?
because you can actually collect them, right? Equals to, let's say, 3, right? You can actually put all of these together, right? So that would be x plus 11 equals to 3.
Can there be like a minus thrown in there too,
Sure,
or whatever?
sure.
Yeah, okay.
You can change that into x minus 1 plus 2. So you still do this first, right? And then do the opposite operation. Okay? So I don't know which one is easier for you guys. If you want to do this, or if you want to do the arrow way and then just switch. It's up. They both are the same thing. So let me give you that. I'm going to give you exactly the same question. So 10 equals a minus 5, right? How can I get rid of minus 5? What do I have to do to get rid of it?
Minus 5?
Add 5,
Oh.
right? Because it's minus. If I add 5, it becomes 0, right? Yeah? If you have a minus 5, how do you get rid of minus 5?
5.
Add 5, right? If I add 5 here, what do I have to do here? So that's going to be 15 equals to 8. Same thing I got here. So you guys can pick whichever method is easier for you. Let's take a vote. Which one votes for this?
Well, that one's based off of, or they're both based off of.
The same thing,
that
exactly the same thing.
example,
Opposite
right?
operation. Who votes for this?
That way seems easier, no? It seems like there's more.
Whatever
work
you
than
guys
that.
would like, I can try to do on the board. Sometimes I will, because I'm personally, I'm used to this.
That way's in your head, isn't it?
This one?
Yeah, no, the first example, that's in your head, no? Because there's nothing else really written there.
That's right. Just moving it. Right? I mean, I'm used to this, but there's both ways. So I'll try to do that with you guys.
I think that's
Okay.
I can do the right side.
Yeah, but I have to pick one method I can do every time. Okay, so if I have 8 plus equals to 7. Remember, I always want to get rid of whatever is with the letter. So what do I need to get rid of?
Minus 5?
I have to get rid of the plus 5, so I have to minus 5. Right? I want to get rid of the plus 5, so I have to subtract 5. Both sides. So that's going to be 8 equals to
2?
what's that minus 5?
2?
So how come we're trying to get the 5 down to 0?
You guys are thinking.
Because you want to leave the A by itself. You want to leave the letter by itself.
Okay. Without trying to move it? Without trying to move over numbers? Or, because I know you were like reordering numbers, for example.
So, as I said earlier, you can either move things around or you can do this method. You guys,
Okay,
you
I'm
guys pick that.
confusing both of them together.
I know.
Shit.
You guys pick that method, so I'm following this method.
Okay, okay. Cool. Thanks.
We will relearn this later. Okay.
So just so I understand, A plus 10 equals, this amount equation, or whatever it's called. A plus 5 or 7 equals 10.
So which one you want? A plus 7 equals 10? Okay.
Okay, so it'd be 3 then, right?
Yeah, but how do you do that? Show me your, what do you do?
Because it's, what I did was, if we're trying to find out what A is, as opposed to why the equals 10, that question equals 10. All you gotta do is add what's missing from the 7 from the 10 as opposed to the 7, right?
Okay, but why are we making things more complicated? What if that number was huge?
You could do that, or you could just take off 7 from 7 and 7 off 10.
Well,
That
So
seems
your
like-
answer is 3, that's
Yeah,
right.
that's just so right.
But then this is how you're gonna write 10 minus 7 is 3. Got it. This is, these questions are easy, right? Once I start giving you questions that are not easy, what do you wanna do? You wanna sit down and actually try every single number, or do you wanna do mathematically? Algebraically, actually. You probably wanna do it algebraically, so get used to it. Okay?
So either way is considered algebraic.
This is all.
Either method.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with expression, you don't have an equal sign. Okay? So let's read that expression right here, that phrase. A number less than 5. Can you guys, let's say a number means 8. A number is 8. So a number is less than 5. How can I write that?
A equals 10 negative.
Remember, I don't have equal, right?
A minus 5.
How about 5 less than a number? What would that be?
Minus the number. Minus 5a.
5 minus
You're mixing them. Okay, let's read this. 5 less than a number. How would I
So
write
a number
that?
would come first, right?
Yep.
And then it would be negative 5.
So A minus 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
That's
5
right.
minus 8.
For this one, a number less than 5, so 5 comes first, and then you're taking away a number.
Both on sale.
Okay? So which one do you like more right now, math or English? Tell me math, please.
Math.
Yes, because English doesn't make sense. What was it? No?
Which is easy for me at least. Math is like, I'm hoping to get like 60%. I'm happy.
Math is a lot harder than English.
Okay, now when it comes to expressions, I can't solve. I can't move things around because I don't have that bridge. I don't have that equal sign to make it move. Okay? So the only thing I can do is I can substitute and evaluate. So that means if I tell you solve or evaluate if A is equal to, and then I give you a number. So I would say evaluate if A is equal to 2. That's an example. Okay? So what do you do here is you take your equation, and then what do you replace A with?
Well, that's the equation, okay.
Yeah, sorry, the expression. When you take the expression, what do you replace A with?
Yes.
X. No. What did I say A is equal to?
2.
Oh, 2.
2.
Sorry.
So you're going to replace A with 2. And then that's going to be, okay. We have this. Sorry. 5 take away A. Yeah?
Yeah.
And I said, evaluate if A is equal to 2.
Okay.
So I'm giving you a value for A. A is 2.
Okay.
So you're replacing that A with a 2.
Oh, okay.
And then you're saying that this is equal to 3.
Yeah.
So if A is 2, then my expression is equal to 3. Make sense? So in this case, I'm giving you the value of A.
Okay. You're giving us the answer to conclude, just to solve it.
Yes.
Okay.
You're just evaluating. All right. Now,
Evaluate means
evaluate means find the answer. What would it equal to if this is the value of it? So, A minus 5, evaluate if A is equal to 2. What do you do?
2 minus 5.
Yeah? So I'm replacing A with a 2.
Yeah.
2 minus 5 equals to
Minus 3.
negative. Again, I'm replacing the A by its value. Are you okay with this? Yes? Okay, let's look at this one.
what does it mean? What does it mean if
So I'm giving you an example if A is 2. Well, I don't know what it means by if.
What if it isn't, then or what it always be?
The question will, okay, let's read this question and maybe you'll see what. If x is 2 and y is 3, evaluate. This is how the question is going to be. So they're giving you a value for x, they're giving you a value of y, they're asking you to evaluate. So what do you have to do?
2 plus 2 plus 3?
What is it plus? Read this for me.
No.
Read this for me, please.
If
2x
2x.
plus y.
What's happening between the 2 and the x?
Multiply.
Yes, there's no plus, that means they're multiplied. Remember?
No, if there's no plus that's in between them.
Yes. So if it's 2 plus x, it will be written like this.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, so in this case, they're telling you that x is 2 and y is 3. So you're going to have to replace x by 2
So 2 times
and y
2
by
plus 3?
Yeah, 2 times 2 plus 3. Exactly. So what I did is, the 2 here, I replaced the x with it. And the y here, I replaced it by 3. Make sense? Okay. Now 2 times 2 is 4 plus 3.
7.
Why did I do 2 times 2 first?
Brackets.
Brackets, or because there's multiplication, right? Okay.
So 2 times 2 squared equals,
3 times 2 squared, yep.
oh, sorry, yeah. Use 2 squared, subtract 3.
3. Oh, 3.
Do we agree with that?
So it's supposed to be 3 times 4 plus minus 3.
That's right. Why is it 3 times 4? What did you do first? What did you do? What rule are you following?
Dead mass.
Bad math, right? Exponent
You're trying to
first.
trick me.
No. I'm just, your brain is thinking, but it's not thinking that it's using the rule,
Okay.
right? So we have to do the exponent first, because bad math says brackets, I have nothing inside the bracket to simplify. After the brackets, I have to do the exponent, right? My exponent says it's 2 to the power of 2, so that's 4, right? So it's like I'm doing this right now. That's bracket here.
So there's an extra line of work basically when there's
Yes,
an
but-
exponent?
yes.
Almost?
Yeah, you're showing your work now. 3 times 4 is 12, take away 3,
9.
9. I'm just gonna do it. Actually, I'm gonna. So the
Now,
answer for this is
what if I eliminated, I didn't use the brackets at no point in time and went 3 times 2 times 2?
So you
So
did
would that
this?
still apply? Yeah, 3 times 2 times, would that still apply
Yeah,
all the time and would
Yeah.
still get the same answer?
but this is a more correct format. It would apply. No matter what, it would apply. So, what would I replace the y with?
Minus 3?
No,
What?
3.
3.
3
3 squared.
squared,
Minus 2 squared.
2 squared.
So 3 times 3 and then 2 times 2.
That's right. What's 3 times 3?
9 and then 4.
9, take away 4, which is
5.
5.
done.
Is it 3
It's
plus
positive
5?
though, right?
Yeah, because 9 is bigger, right?
Isn't that bad math? So like even if it's less, it's not less than bigger than the 4 when they take positive anyways?
No, because the 9 is bigger than the 4. 9, you have 9, and you're taking away 4, right? I didn't go into the negatives. I'm still in the positive. You're in the 9,
It just switches for when you talk.
right? And then you're moving backward 4. You still did not reach the 0, right? You still did not reach the 0 yet.
Okay.
Okay?
It's just timesing and dividing, you have to switch the